As one of my producers has been saying since morning, thank God it's Friday. He didn't say that to me on Tuesday. He didn't say thank God it's Tuesday, but I guess we sort of understand. Okay, we have a very important guest in the building, important to many Nigerians, very many, if not all Nigerians, because of the nature of his knowledge. My guest is a lawyer with over 3 decades of experience in that sector, and he also happens to be a person who has been actively participating in the electricity and power reforms in Nigeria and has negotiated and concluded several successful privatization transactions. Okay, with that you might have begun to guess, okay, the nature of this particular guest, who is a specialist. Of course, I'm talking here about Joseph Chiedu Ugbo, who is the MD, CEO of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company. Good morning to you. I'm delighted to have you on, Chiedu, because you're a very important person to Nigerians, as I say, because every Nigerian, there's no Nigerian that this topic doesn't concern. And the topic that we're going to be having this morning is the efforts at attaining uninterrupted power supply in Nigeria. As you know, it's all over, the country that if we can just sort the question of power delivery out, a lot of people believe that, most of our problems would have been adequately addressed, if not exactly solved. So I guess the $100 million question is what it is going to take to arrive at that happy status where, like other countries, some in Africa, others in other parts of the world, where they take for granted a 24/7 supply of electricity, or at the very best, where the fact that there's going to be an outage for an hour suddenly becomes big news before the event, where they will be announcing, we apologize for this, it's going to happen, it won't be more than an hour. So in other words, the good times. It's a dream that many Nigerians have. Is it a dream that's attainable?
Sure. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Yori, please.
No, I watch your program and they refer to you as Uncle Yori. So,
thank you very much.
And good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. It's a very topical question, and we cannot overemphasize the importance of electricity to economic transformation, especially at this stage of economic development in Nigeria. So, yeah, the question is very apt. Yes, we are getting there. We'll get there. It's a slow pace, but we'll get there. A lot of work has been done in the past. Now, what is required before delving into the nitty-gritty, the technical issues, what is required is proper coordination now and strong political will. That is, and of course, the present government, yes. That is what the president has in abundance. Yeah, clearly.
Could I just come in there for clarification?
Yeah.
When people heard you first say it's a slow process, people would have thought, is it a matter of money? But then when you added the required political will,
yes.
I want a bit of clarification on that, if I can get it.
Yes.
The political, who would not want us to have this?
No. So every government has tried in the past, even since the beginning of the Fourth Republic, as I used to say. If I realize the data of installed and available capacity, you can see some incremental but not huge change in the capacity in Nigeria. But we are at the point where the problems are properly dimensioned now.
Okay.
Yeah. So, His Excellency President Tinubu has his job well cut out for him in the power sector. And of course, we all know him, he has the strong political will to tackle these problems head on. I'll give you an example. The Minister of Power, Chibayo Adelabo, has already identified this coordination as an issue, and we've all known that's an issue. And coordination, you need, there is the tendency the tendency for government agencies to, work in silos, to be in a mode of tough protection.
Yes.
Tough protection.
Watertight
Yes. But that is changing, and that will change. You have a coordinating minister of economy. I've had some minutes of interaction with him where you can see having an overview, putting everything together. So that is what is required. Now, yes, money is required, but if you throw money in the wrong place, you're not going to get, the outcome will be different. But if you throw money in the right place because you have proper coordination, then you get the desired outcome. So that's where that's why I mentioned that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's going to be very useful, a coordinating minister.
Yeah.
It means that there will be a much wider overview.
Yes,
of
that's right.
all the issues.
Yes.
Yes. And as you know, the president, there's this sort of a regulatory unit, although we also have that in the power sector. But the president having set up this at this retreat that he's having, I think this must be the third day. Was talking about checking off, monitoring, performance, and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I imagine that it's going to be a lot better. Okay, let's try and get into the nitty-gritty of it. People across the country have different experiences, some better than others in terms of how well we're doing. A survey that I believe was conducted recently says that most people have somewhere between 6 and 9 hours of electricity. But this was something I read from June. Is it any better now? And can one really use those kind of surveys as a good indicator?
Yeah, so it depends on where you live, but talking generally, yes. So I talk from the perspective now of the industry, being an industry operator and being involved in generation. Although we implement the National Integrated Power Project, NIPP, so we are somehow integrated in a sense because we intervene in providing this infrastructure and transmission and distribution as well. But our main business is generation. And I can tell you that today we have an installed capacity of 4,000 megawatts, and that's Niger Delta Power Holding Company alone. And we have about 1,000 still coming in the next 16 to 24 months. You have that also involved. So, and if you add that to the total generation in the company, the total generation is somewhere around 13,000 megawatts, closing up to 14,000 megawatts. So generation is way ahead of the network segments of the business. Let me also say this. When you hear people talk about value chain, it's become more like a cliche. So people really don't, pay attention to what it means. But it is a chain. The power sector is a chain. And a chain is as strong as its weakest link. So even if you have all the generation plants, if you don't have the transmission working and the distribution working, you're going to have stranded generation. If you have all the big generation, have 20,000, 30,000 megawatts, if you don't bring out the gas from the ground, especially for gas thermal like us, you have stranded generation. Everything must be aligned. That's where that coordination comes in, and that's where what the coordinating minister is doing now is fantastic. I mean, so far, giving thumbs up, So, and of course, the Minister of Power. So, if you take it from there, and from our experience at Niger Delta Power Holding Company, we have 4,000 megawatts, like I said. If you take the temperature in the areas where we operate, we probably should be able to give you at least 3,500 megawatts, by temperature, because these machines were built at 20 degrees, to operate at 20 degrees. So, but Nigeria, we use the average of 31 degrees. So, why are we not doing 3,500 megawatts in Niger Delta Power Holding Company alone?
Yes.
Why is the whole country doing average of 5,000 megawatts a day. And that 5,000 megawatts is peak.
Peak?
Yes. Peak period. So why?
Why?
Okay, that's the question. From generation side, all generation companies put together, I just mentioned installed about 13 to 14,000 megawatts. You have about between 7,000 and 8,000 megawatts mechanically available. Turnet is ready to go on. But it has to be commercially available. So, we talk about commercial operations of power plants. So you need the gas, and you need to evacuate your output.
So these are for the inputs.
Yes. So the input and output, they are challenged significantly. Our gas is a major problem, but I will come to it.
Okay.
The problem with gas is purely commercial. Nigeria has proven reserve of about 200 TCF, of gas. Nigeria is described as a gas territory with some oil in it. With all our crude oil and everything, we're in the oil and gas industry, we're described as a gas territory with some oil in it. That will tell you the abundance of gas we have.
Much so that
ninth in the world.
Okay.
Yes. Huge reserve. Unproven reserve of about 600 TCF. So we have gas. So we'll come to that. But I said the problem is commercial, because you have the people who can bring the gas, but they are reluctant to do that. Then you come, okay, the ones we have, the generation we have, why are we not doing it? As the minister pointed out recently in a conference, some of the power stations, you still have power transformers. What they have called power transformers are big transmission transformers, the huge ones like a building. You still have the ones with ECN mark. So before we were born, they are still there.
Yeah.
So decrepit infrastructure. A lot of money is required there. Radial lines, not a loop. Inadequate infrastructure, just put it there.
And is this coming from neglect over the decades?
Yeah.
If there was a systematic...
Yes, lack of investment. Yeah, lack of investment. The government, that's why democracy is good. During this democracy, you find that that's when our company was established in 2004, 2000. NDPHC was conceived in 2004. And a lot has been done through our company in intervening in infrastructure in the transmission segment. Tons and tons of, I'm sure you have been served from one of our transmission stations around this area. We are working a lot. If you take a trip to Cairo near Lausa there, you will see near Ogba, you see a state-of-the-art transmission station built by our company and a lot of transmission. So a lot's been done, but still not enough.
Yeah. I was going to say, when it is available. Otherwise, alternative means.
Then you now come to the biggest area of the chain, they call the huge elephant in the chain, and that is the distribution and the retail end of it. They suffer from technical losses because of, again, obsolete infrastructure. They suffer from commercial losses because of theft. Because of electricity, which is a huge, discourse I've been complaining about that.
Yes, we're going to come to that.
Yes,
and
they suffer
metering.
From, metering, that's collection inefficiency. Yeah, those are of course, collection inefficiency, there are two parts to it. There is the one that comes from metering, and there is one they have always talked about as tariff shortfall. So you have what we, in the industry, we call the market shortfall, which comes from metering, not collecting from, at least what's been agreed, and the tariff not being cost reflective, whatever that means.
Okay, I was going to say whatever that means, because as people are complaining that here are the distributors trying to actually increase the tariff.
Yes.
And in these times, people are very, very sensitive to any such increase. But then you explained that you've just spoken about it, and I imagine that some of these inefficiencies, the distribution companies will try to pass it on, to the consumers ultimately.
Yes, that's sadly. I mean, every business, you have to identify the cost. And if the cost is not your own personal cost, you have to charge it into the business and pass it on.
Otherwise, not a business.
It's not a business. And that, we signed up to the SDG the SDG goals, SDG 7, and that is one of the factors militating against you having sustainable electricity, reliable and affordable electricity. That's one of the factors. So when you transfer it to the consumers are unable to pay. They are not able to pay. So it becomes a disincentive for even investors. So the vicious cycle continues.
Indeed. And in addition to what you've just said, there are complaints that Nigeria is generally under-metered.
Yeah.
That, on the one hand, there are, people that are not positioned to be able to be metered. And then on the other, there are those who are actually stealing electricity. Both of these are going to add to the ultimate call. But I said it's a national topic, and Reverend Dominic has called in already. Good morning to you, Reverend Dominic.
Good morning, Chief Yori. God bless you for bringing this topic today.
Okay. I'm sure if I can get a bit more volume so we can hear properly in studio, we can't at the moment. But please carry on, Reverend Dominic.
Okay. Please, can you answer my question? I have been using prepaid meter since 2011. I recharged it on Monday. Can you hear me, sir?
Okay.
I'm
sure they're working on it.
Okay.
They're working on it.
So okay.
But continue to speak.
Prepaid meter since 2011. I recharged it on Monday, what we call analog. We just go and recharge. You cannot recharge electronically.
Okay.
But by Wednesday, I couldn't have light, and the card could not be discharged to the meter. So I went to their office. They said they have discarded my meter. I said, what do I do? They said I have to have a new meter, pay for a new meter. I was like, I'm ready to pay for a new meter, which is 150,000. The man said, even though I pay today, it will take them 3 months to replace my meter. Now, sir, I have no light. I can't recharge the one I have paid for, and I can't use light. Why do you remove the analog meter? Analog meter I have. Here you don't have electronic one to give back to me, and you're not shut me off and hold my money. I can't have light. I can't use light, and I can't have a meter. What kind of a system is that? You cancel the old one I have. You don't have a new one. How does it work? I want the gentleman there, a very great man, to answer me. Why are you sabotaging the system? I mean, the electricity company sabotaging themselves by shutting me off, even though I have analog meter, and I could not give me electronic meter, even though I pay for today. I have to wait for 3 months, and now I'm in darkness. Why, sir?
Okay, thank you very much for calling in, Reverend Dominic. This relates to the distribution side of town.
Yeah.
And as you know, we have been told by the authorities that in conjunction with the rest of the world, we have to switch to a new kind of a system.
Yeah.
But the system apparently is not even ready, because what we're hearing is that you can't access the sites for where you can actually activate all of these things. I don't know. The Reverend there is seeking clarification.
Yes, I think it's, I can imagine what he's going through, and a painful one at that. But every distribution company is mandated, and they do have customer service desk to receive complaints.
Yes.
And I think the regulator too has regional offices for complaints like this. I know the regulator has been on this transition.
Yes, this transition.
From the old system, has been on the discourse for this transition from the old system of metering to the new system, and they are working on that. I know that as a fact. But I can imagine, I can imagine that as with any new thing, there are bound to be hitches. So I can imagine that that's what they are going through. And just like every business, they would like to get their money. So just bear in mind, it's a business for them. They would like to get their money. So they will not just throw you out deliberately, So I'm sure they are working on it, but it's a point that I will personally take it on with the CEO of Ikeja Disco. Ikeja, she's a fantastic lady.
Because Ikeja Electric
they are working.
to be having their own challenges. They are working, they have their challenges. As we speak, many customers are actually trying to comply with all that they advise. it's not even possible. They say the sites are not yet accessible, if that is accurate. But this is what we are being told, and Reverend Dominic has been caught in the middle of that.
Please, you can send their complaint to them and off to the regulator as well. I'm sure it will be addressed.
Akin in Apapa has also called in. Good morning, Akin.
Topic is highly interesting. In Olodi Apapa here, we have tried to apply for prepaid meter. In the last 4 months, the teller for payment has not been generated. Even for those that apply that they have generated their teller for payment, they have paid, the meter is not yet out. My question is this: if the government cannot provide prepaid meter, then the other option would be, can we have a company that is selling the prepaid that will go and get it directly from them, so that we can have the meter, because the exorbitant bill that was being charged to ordinary citizens is too high. We cannot afford it. The economy is harsh. So if we get a company that can get the bill that we can buy directly from, they will give to the Eco Disco or Ikeja Disco that they just the meter for us. It's better for it than for us not to have to pay. The estimated bill is too high. We are just on the crossroad. The citizen is, it's becoming too harsh on us.
Okay.
I want to respond to this.
Thank you very much, Akin, for calling in, talking about the inefficiency. And you're calling in from Lagos, even though we're being seen all over the country. So I imagine other districts might also have their own issues, or maybe it's even better. But it would appear to many to be inefficient. For instance, a lot of the things, and I know that you want to respond, some of the things that KJ Electric has asked people to do, I've wondered why they have the data, they have the records, they know where the meters are. Why these things could not be done back end? Yeah. So why they are worrying people to go and do these very complicated things? I'm aware that you have an overview of everything, and we're talking about the distribution here, but this must be part of the inefficiencies that we're talking about. Now, Akin wanted you to please react.
Yes, I wouldn't call it inefficiency in operation as such. Okay. I would call it, when you are trying a new thing, there are bound to be hitches. There are certain things unplanned for that could come up. And I'm sure that's why I'm telling you this is that we have regular meetings with the regulator. That's all the operators we have, including distribution, transmission, generation. We'll have the. And I know that the regulator takes, out of 2 days, takes 1 whole day, to deal with distribution issues. And that's most of that day, if not all, just one single item, metering. They focus on it. They are monitoring them. They are checking the rate of compliance by the distribution companies. And it's just a matter of time. What I can say is that customers should please be patient. They've been very patient over the years, but please just give them a little more time. They will get over the whole process of the reform, the whole process of ensuring that there will be uninterrupted electricity starts with this metering. And that is what the regulator is trying to address with the distribution companies, and they are working on it. Yeah. They are working on it, but as with every new thing, new process, you will just expect there will be hitches. And, let me tell you, without holding brief for them, I think the Lagos people, the Eco and the Keja, they should be, in my view, they should be on top of their games without holding brief for them. So I imagine that they are working at it.
Okay. Yes. Let me bring on Mr. George, also calling in from Lagos. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Good morning to your guest.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, like we were discussing yesterday, Nigeria cannot have industrial development without power. There is a general belief, I think your guest should please enlighten us more. There's a general belief in the country that people who are involved in oil and gas business are the ones deliberately ensuring that the power sector does not work. How is it? The gentleman said in total, he believes we have not less than 14,000 megawatts in terms of generation. And that the maximum we have ever had is 5,000 in terms of actually supply and transmission and supply and to the discos. What happens to the rest? And why is it that it has never gone beyond that? There are people who are deliberately ensuring that it doesn't work. Now that we have an opportunity of a government that has foresight, I want to appeal to Mr. President. If it means going outside this country, go and bring General Electric. We want our transmission lines to work. There is no reason why it should not work. If trains can be built and they are working, how is it that the transmission cannot work? Is it an impossible thing? I don't think it is impossible. Let Nigeria breathe. Those who are behind the power sector that they don't want things to work, they are the ones that will not allow them to breathe. Thank you.
Let me answer that.
Yes, please.
I think, when things are not going well, there's always a conspiracy theory. That's the truth. But to the best of my knowledge, I don't think that I am not aware of any organization trying to frustrate the power from working. What you have, like I say, it's a chain that you have to make sure that all the segments are aligned and working together. With transmission, a lot of work is being done. You are right, you are apt. And for your information, GE is in Nigeria. Our units, let me say 90% of our turbines at NDPHC, they are GE units, and we have GE supporting us on that. So GE is in Nigeria. But let me go back to transmission. A lot of work is being done in transmission, a whole lot of work. You talked about GE. You know the Presidential Power Initiative. There's a Siemens, the so-called Siemens project.
I was going to ask about Siemens in relation to what you're talking about.
So it's part of it. There is government direct funding through the CBN in transmission expansion is ongoing. A lot of activities. And like I mentioned, Niger Delta Power Holding Company, again, we are intervening seriously. That's to provide infrastructure. We have a lot of infrastructure TCM projects that we have completed, and we have a lot that are ongoing that we will still complete for the Transmission Company of Nigeria. We don't manage, we don't operate them, but we are government, so that funding comes through us to do that. So a lot of work is ongoing in that respect. And like I said, just a matter of time, and we'll begin to see the fruits of these actions. And to tell you, power, if it is 99% complete, it's still not completed.
Okay.
Yes, until it shows you. If you like, finish up everything.
No matter how much work is
being done. Yeah. So, and we are getting there. Okay. We are getting there. Yeah.
I think we'll take a break at this stage,
okay,
so that we can continue uninterrupted. Please stay with us and keep the calls coming. We'll be right back.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Okay, welcome back. Our guest is Joseph Chiedu Ugbo. He's the MD CEO, Niger Delta Power Holding Company, NDPHC. And we're looking at the question of efforts at attaining uninterrupted power supply in Nigeria. We've done quite a bit, but a lot of questions have come in, and they're concentrating on the distribution area, because he's just explained that, look, even if you've got 99% of it right, that last 100% must be there so that people at home can relate to it. But I know you wanted to complete something, so I'll let you complete that before I go on to my next question.
So I just wanted to say that, as we say, there's a truism. I mean, it's right that there cannot be industrial development without electricity. And that is why, like I mentioned again at the beginning, that you need strong political will, you need proper coordination. And the question had come, say, what happens to the rest of the capacity in the power plants? And I'm saying, so what I want to say is what we're trying to do at Niger Delta Power Holding Company, where we have quite a number of the capacity not taken. The vice president himself, we're doing what we call Light Up Nigeria. If you like, you can call it Energizing Businesses. Okay. The vice president, Senator Kashin Shettima, His Excellency Senator Kashin Shettima, GCON, is leading the charge. He's the chairman of my company. He's leading the charge. We're energizing businesses, industries, industrial clusters. We started with Agbara. You must have seen us.
Around business.
Round table. Yes. Business. So we're gathering that those businesses, because what they are getting now, they're getting electricity at about 350 naira per kilowatt hour, self-generation. And we can sell to them at less than 100 naira or thereabout. You can imagine the impact of that. So we are gathering that, and we have, they can consume up to 200 megawatts in that area. So we are trying to clear, we have the power plants, so we have the electricity. So what the challenges in the network, we are working with transmission company. So the transmission company is expanding the transmission station in Agbara, and we are doing the last mile. We work to clear the distribution, so do the last mile, make sure they have not just affordable, it has to be reliable, and it has to be sustainable. And that's what we are doing. We are working on, we have that, we signed with Ibadan Disco as well. We're taking up the industrial areas in Ota, and here is Shagamu Interchange, or that area. So we are going to also supply them because we have the capacity available. It's not useful to Nigerians being at the power plant. So we're taking it right from the power plant to where they are needed. Okay. That's what my company is doing. Yeah.
Alfred, in Gowan Estate, again in Lagos. Good morning to you. Oh, I just lost Alfred. Let me take this opportunity for you to also clear something up. I described you as the CEO, MD and CEO of Niger Delta Power Holding Company. Yeah. Why the Niger Delta? It's a Nigerian thing, isn't it? Yeah. Is there an emphasis on Niger Delta here?
So the time the company was set up, I think there were serious agitations in the Niger Delta. And the design of the company, the generation is to have power plants located in the Niger Delta. And we have power plants in the Niger Delta states, the NDDC states up to Ondo. Yeah, so apart from Akwa Ibom, we have in Cross River down to Ondo. So we have 8 power plants in the traditional NDDC states, including Abia and Imo State. And then we have here, not too far from here, along should go close to Papaland to Ogun State. We have our biggest power plant is there. And then, of course, we have in Geregu near Jokuta. Those two are just the only exceptions. So because the power plants are located in Niger Delta State, so they named it Niger Delta. Okay. And I think they wanted we in the Niger Delta to have a sense of belonging. Yeah. Okay. We are the host states.
But it's actually a national
It's a national thing. Yeah. We were funded from the SS Crude account, which is part of the Federation account. And so it belongs to Nigeria.
What percentage, if you want, of Nigeria's requirement does the Niger Delta Power Holding Company?
I can't tell you offhand now, but what I tell you is that I think it follows the revenue allocation formula. Yeah, the way they share the revenue, that's the percentage. And I can tell you again that the states put together with their local governments. So states and local governments have 53% of our company, while the federal government is the single largest with 47%. Okay. So all the states put together with all the local governments put together have 53%.
Mazi Okoroafo in Arochukwu, thank you for holding on. Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, our guest.
Yes.
Mazi Okoroafo out here. Sir, you see,
when we talk about power, energy, and as that as 10 years of privatization, what happened? Federal government have to investigate these 10 years of privatization. Those people who bought all these our energy sectors for good 10 years, they cannot break even. In fact, what I mean by break even, for the mass to have access to it, for the manufacturers to have access to it, for TVC and other television houses and radio houses to have access to energy. Now you ask yourself, what is it? I think federal government has to go back to the state, find out who are those people that bought these our powerhouses for 10 good years. They cannot give us the best. Now, Sayuri and our guests are Nigerians who are listening. Ukraine is fighting war for over 1 year. The same Ukraine are supplying energy to other countries. The same Ukraine are having excess energy. The same Ukraine see that anytime they need energy, no matter what the type of bomb Putin and boys will say, they will still go back and revive the system. So I start asking myself, all the universities of science and technology where we have engineering, electrical, electrical, electronics, and mechanical, metaphysics, what are they doing? It is the high time that the federal government mandates states to start generating their own power. The states also, the local government, the states should move to local government where they have accessibility. How do we get this system? What do we do now? All these dams, what are the honorable members? Can't they help us build dams? From there, not in Nigeria, it will help us. Look, as long as energy is a major problem in this country, there is no way manufacturers can function. There is no way all these traders can function. There is no way all these entrepreneurs we sing every day as song as them. You cannot function because we need energy. And this energy is very, very easy to access. It's very, very easy to get. The job that we sit down, this job to people who don't know, to people who cannot break even, to people who don't have access to people who are not ready to help Nigeria move forward. Rather, people that are sitting down just to depress and kill the country. Look, the area we come out from our slumber is better for us. Let's look for those people that are ready to give us their volunteers. Look at the solar panel we are talking. How much is solar panel? You see people, where are the materials? The materials are accessible in this country. But
okay.
the people that are good to do them, are they be given an opportunity to do that? No way. So the area we think positively is better for us. As long as we are delegating in terms of energy, it is not possible. There's no way we can break even. That is for manufacturers to move forward without energy.
Okay, Mazi Okorafo. Thank you very much. Let's get our guests to respond to some of those issues.
Yeah. 10 years of privatization. Fantastic. I think we just had a conference recently talking about 10 years of privatization. But the truth remains, in privatization, I mean, from the reform, there was the vertical bundling of the sector, and that's separating distribution from transmission and generation. Generation was privatized, distribution was privatized. Generation, I mean, from the report of BPE, I think nearly all the generation companies met their performance targets. Of course, that's why we're having close to 14,000 megawatts. You know, the generation companies met their targets. They are doing well. But like I said, it's still a chain. So no matter what you do, if you like, have all that. Distribution, there have been a lot of calls on distribution. Yes, there are challenges. And challenges are being faced, like I said, it's been properly dimensioned. Mm-hmm. The challenges are being worked on. And it's just a matter of time. The minister at the meeting is also, the minister has reiterated the fact that, look, we are going to monitor you closely. Okay. And if you have challenges, we are also going to work with you to make sure that we resolve all these challenges. There have been blames over time. The government did not do what it's supposed to do, this one, that. That's why we've not been able to perform. But I think now all hands are on deck. We've gotten to a point where we have to work and resolve all these challenges.
Okay, because it's interesting you said that, because I was going to come to the question of a reported or perceived dispute between you, NDPHC, and TCN and Aba Electric. As I said, wow. I'll come to that, but in the meantime, Elder David, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Sir Yori. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, please.
We thank God. The light is improving now. There is no lie about it. The light is improving now. I say there is no lie about it.
Okay, it is improving. That's good to hear.
In 1998, you remember, when the PDP government came in, 2,000 megawatts is what they had.
Exactly.
Until when the league government remain like that. Yes, these are facts. It's not a hate speech. Me and you, we know that. And when the APC government comes in, yes, there was a change, 2015. Because this PDP government, privatization and liquidation of 34 parastatal, I always said it here, federal parastatal, that provide jobs for millions of youths. That made people like us who retire in 1998 to lose our pension. In fact, may God forgive them. May God forgive them. I pray as you are there, you will retire on your own pension. When the APC government comes to us, they start to correct all those things. The one we call privatization of NEPA, we know what happened. Bring this disco in, and it was the same 2000. But this government has just come within seconds now. It's not up to 6 months in government. Until you say you are not getting light in your area here, you are playing politics. The light is very regular now.
Okay.
We know it has improved very well. What we are saying
Yeah.
is that those who want to sabotage this government,
Fact.
well, we leave them to God.
Fact.
May God forgive them, and they should not try it. Because this government that are coming, within 1 year, if we are patient, you will see that all those factories that have gone to Ghana and other will come back. These are facts. Let us pray for this government. Congratulations that this man is there. Till 2031, he is still there ruling. As well as you are met by the grace of God. It will be better for everyone or for better for everyone.
Well, thank you very much for calling in, Elder David. Okay, I had asked, what is that perceived dispute? First of all, is it indeed fact that there's a dispute between NDPHC, TCN, and Aba Electric?
Yeah, I think this must have been from the advert TCN put out. Yes, what we are doing, Aba Electric has the franchise area for Aba. As a matter of fact, 9 local governments in Abia State out of 15. And when they took over from Enugu Disco, they contacted us, so we have to supply them directly. And of course, we are prepared, like I said, because bilateral, we are prepared to work with them, resolve the network challenges, and get them to serve. So, but it's a bilateral contract. That's 2 people involved. And as you would imagine, there will be issues, but it's not a declared dispute.
Okay.
Yeah. We are having challenges. So I'm not getting enough power. I'm not paying. I'm not, all of that.
Because you also said that you're owed 180 billion.
Yes. We're owed, the market owes us.
Okay.
Come that, yes. That is part of the problems with generation. All the generation companies are owed. So if you come to generation, now let me put it properly, in proper perspective. If you come to generation, apart from gas challenge, apart from transmission, the transmission challenge is such that, one, you are not, what you have available is not taken, right? So put it like this, you have goods manufactured in the warehouse. You don't have a transporter to move them to where they are needed, and where we call load centers. So to the market where they are needed, we call that load centers. So that's a problem. That's one. So you have that. So you are not doing up to your capacity. 2, even the one that's taken is not fully paid for. Again, because of the tariff, the collection inefficiencies. They will tell you the electricity, the velocity is supposed to move in this direction, and the money is supposed to return in equal velocity back. But the money short lands because you serve consumers, they don't pay for whatever reason, argument with the discos. Discos, whatever they collect, they remit. There's a short lands to the Nigerian bulk electricity trading, and they pay us less. And that's why I said the gas issue is commercial, because the gas man is not fully paid, he's not interested in. You see what is happening.
Let me quickly.
That's where we're owed that It's over 180 billion.
Over 180 billion, as reported. Mr. Omolayo in Bauchi, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. My name is Omolayo, Mrs. It's not Mr. Omolayo.
Okay, ma'am.
From Bauchi Town.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Yes, then good morning, sir. Please, good morning to your guests too. Please, I want to make a complaint, sir. My complaint is to Jed Bauchi. They are the one covering Bauchi. That's just electricity distribution. I recharged since May this year. I recharged tokens, but the token was not sent to me, and they debit me through PAMP. So I complained to PAMPay. PAMPay direct me back to JED. I went to JED to their head office in Bauchi several times. I make the complaint. I've been going there more than 20 times. Even when I calculate the transportation, it's even more than the money that I recharge. Why am I complaining? This is the second time it will happen to me. The customer service there, they will direct me to their accountant. The accountant direct me back to the customer service, up and down. If I complain to the PAMPay asked me to go back to JED. Up to now, my money was not reversed back to me. And JED was telling me that why did I recharge through PAMPay? I'm supposed to come to their office and recharge. And I was not saying that, is it not PAMPay? Is it not part of the agent that you people are using? Why are you not telling me? Are you not saying that if my card ends in the night, I should come to your office in that night, come and recharge? Sir, please, I want you to help me. Not that is the money, but the stress that I go through. I'm in Nigeria, I've been recharged, I'm not owing any money. So why will my money will be with them and they will not refund it? It happened to me last year. I forfeit the money. This time around almost 8,500.
Mrs. Omolayo, thank you very much for calling in. Indeed, your complaint is very important, especially to you. But I don't know the extent to which you can weigh in on that.
So I at least I've seen the name, Ms. Omolayo.
Mrs. Omolayo.
Mrs. Omolayo, and
in Bauchi.
Yes, in Bauchi. I know the MD of Just Disco very well. I will pass this to him personally. I don't know if I think she can pass on her contact to you.
Sure.
Send that to me.
Okay.
I will make sure we address that.
It's just as well that you brought that matter out, Mrs. Omolayo. And I don't know, not being sexist or anything, the fact that it was Mrs. Omolayo that called in just sort of reminded me about gas. And because, again, I'm talking about domestic gas here, or gas generally. What's the implication of it being priced in dollars?
Yes, I've been involved in transactions. I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm now involved in operations, and I can see how it bites. So the producers themselves, to hedge against this kind of volatility in the market and the foreign exchange market, who want to keep their tariff denominated in USD. They don't collect USD.
They don't collect.
Yes, they get paid. Yes, they get paid in naira, but at the exchange rate at the time of payment. That's it's cost a huge liability for distribution. Now that with the exchange rate, with the parity, in the market, it had to go up. And that means you have to pay more for gas in terms of naira. But they do that because I understand them saying that most of their cost, or the substantial part of their cost, production cost, is in USD. Okay. I have taken them up and said, look, you have onshore costs, that's within the country, local cost. And they say it's just very small. So if it's
because people have the notion that we produce gas
now. We produce gas, but the cost, all the equipment you use, just like power. That's why again part of why the power problem remains generation. Everything you need use in the power plant, it's imported. The turbines.
Okay, let me. Mr. Alao in Victoria Island, Lagos. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you today, sir?
Very well, thank you. Please go ahead.
These coals are the major challenge of electricity supply. These coal companies are major challenges to power supply. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, there are a major problem to electricity supply in the country. You recall, sir, with your age, I know that in the days of ECN, once you submit your form, they will supply you with meter. But these days, customers are made to purchase meters, and the discos are not making these meters available to customers. Say, for instance, Ikeja Electric, even despite the increase of the prepaid meter purchase to 81 for single phase and about 100 plus for 3 phase, Ikeja Electric since August has blocked the channel for payment for meters. But then they continue to give estimated bills to the accounts that have been created, thereby sniffing life out of customers with the estimated billings. This is a way not to encourage customers to apply for prepaid meters. And without prepaid meters, how do you get funds to enhance electricity supply?
Okay, that's a challenge. I beg your pardon for interrupting you, but because we're running out of time, and I did want, but I think that's the gist of the point that you wanted to make. Let me bring it to Mr. Ugo.
I just want to say I'm very sure that the regulator is listening. I'm very sure that Ikeja Disco is listening. I will also take it back to the company and to the Regulatory Commission the points you've made. But I just want to assure you that, like I mentioned at the beginning, this government is doing everything possible to ensure that we have electricity. So this will soon be a thing of the past. Rest assured, it will soon be a thing of the past. But I'm taking you a particular issue, taking note of that. I will take it back to the appropriate quarters, i.e. the Regulatory Commission and, of course, Ikeja Disco.
You know, there's so many questions because it's such an important topic and it concerns every Nigerian, but we've run out of time. So let me just ask your thoughts on, look, 10 years after power privatization, does it appear to you to be a curse or a blessing? Your thoughts on that?
It was meant to be a blessing. It was designed to be a blessing. But as you would expect, when you have blessings like that, the devil comes in. But don't worry, I think a minister previously said, what previous minister said, we'll chase out the demons.
We will chase out the demons.
So we, this government is working to ensure that everything is corrected and it's working the way it should work. Like I said, the problems have been properly dimensioned. Everybody knows its role. And then with the coordination being brought on board by this government, it will be resolved in no time. In no time, I assure you.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there. And I want to thank you very much, Mr. Joseph Chiedu Ugo, MD, CEO of Niger Delta Power Holding Company of Nigeria. And lest the name, deceive you, it's a national asset. It belongs to everybody, but it was named after where it is located and cited. Thank you very much once more, Mr. Ugo, for coming on our program today.
Thank you very much.
You must come back because there's so many areas that we...
No, we are here, we are ready. A lot is being done.
Indeed.
Unless we talk to people like you and to Nigerians, they will not know what is being done.
Thank you very much.
But one parting word, the Vice President is personally leading the Light Up Nigeria initiative, which we are doing, and we are working to ensure that businesses and homes are energized. And in no time, you'll see that happening.
Thank you very much. Well, that's our program today, quite an exciting one, even if I say so myself. Please join us, not tomorrow, but on Monday, for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folare. Bye-bye for now.
As an MC, I need to walk the talk. It's a walk I've walked many times. It's okay, everyone. Not since, well, before, these tough stains would stay on my clothes.